Okay, we are going live. Let's make sure there are a few people here. Oh, share it. So let me post this in social. How you guys doing? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me, CJ?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. Just 1 second. Ooh. Let me send that link. We're good to go. Okay, so we're going to talk about e-commerce. And I'm just going to start off by thanking you guys for joining us, right? You guys are, to me, legends in the e-commerce space, right? I have CJ, who's based out of Colorado. Very interesting cat. We've kind of built a good friendship now, and you started out, rough beginnings, and now you run what I call an e-commerce enterprise, right? I'll call you a digital real estate entrepreneur. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Yeah, that word digital real estate throws people off, but it's a real thing,
Sure.
And then we also have the mogul mompreneur, like one of the most underrated badasses I've met on social media, right? Miss Audrey. Round of applause. You got to
let's give it up. I appreciate that. What a welcome.
Yeah, so I'm still talking about why we're here. Thank you for everyone who's tuning in. I'm going to keep this on YouTube for a couple of days and then take it off. I started a program on my social media a couple of weeks ago, and we've had 28 people sign up so far. And it's a simple program. And this is the start of it. This is really the launch, the kickoff. So I'm excited. I'm really pumped. I got my Kobe t-shirt on. I got my TMC hat.
Yeah.
I really, I'm very, very impressed with my audience because I wanted to learn e-commerce. Like what I learned was 95% of people that run a Shopify business fail because they lack three things. They lack, a winning product. They lack the marketing know-how or the techniques to get the traffic that converts. And they also lack, a credible looking page. You know what I mean? Like you don't just get people to leave their credit card and buy stuff from you without building a brand, right?
Nice.
So I tried to freestyle it and I failed. And I'm a pretty smart cat. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not like the dumbest guy out here, And I failed. So I was like, what's going on? My ads are not converting. What's the reason why this is not working for me? And I realized what it was I'm just not good at it. So I wanted to learn. And I went on YouTube and I couldn't find anything. I just found a bunch of noise, a bunch of teenagers bragging about how they made this money and that money. I didn't see no real credible dashboards or nothing. You know what I mean? I couldn't relate to them, So I have a background of organizing events. I run the influencer marketing conference and expo. So I said, I'm going to create a mastermind and I'm going to go out there and find people that have actually successfully built Shopify businesses and ask them to come teach a group of like-minded people. And so that's what my intention is. That's the energy we're trying to create here. So we want to give people a taste of what that's like and the structure of the program. You can ask any questions in the chat box. So I want to start off by, letting TJ introduce himself, right? In his own words and tell us your e-commerce journey from beginning to end. How did you get started and where are you right now?
Well, that's going to be a long story. I don't know if we got that much time, but I'm going to try to break it down and keep it in a nutshell. So
it's cool.
I started my e-commerce journey probably about 2015. I I've been a full-time entrepreneur now for probably about 3 years. Digital entrepreneur to a degree. Are you still in there? I think I lost y'all.
No, you're here.
Good.
Yeah, you're here.
Okay, for sure. So been liberated for about 3 years now, and when I was incarcerated for 11 and a half years, from 20 up to being about 34. And while I was incarcerated, I actually read a book called The 4 Hour Work Week by Tim Ferriss. And it kind of gave me the breakdown of the way the car moved, basically. So when I got out, I was lucky enough to pick up a job at a construction company and work the office and things of that nature, which gave me time to get off work and research Shopify and things of that nature. And what I found was, you needed 10, 20, 30K just to get in the game, to start playing it, and it intimidated me because I didn't have nothing at the time. I mean, zero, nothing. I ain't got nothing. I'm riding a bus almost, pretty much. So, I watched a lot of YouTube videos, spent a lot of money on Facebook ads, and wasn't realizing at the time what I was basically, I thought I kept losing money. I'd spend my paycheck on running, ads on Facebook, and they weren't converting. And, in retrospect, everything's 2020, right? And I can look back now and see, like you say, page wasn't credible. There were so many areas of this stuff that I was blind to, but I knew the power of being able to sell to the world. You know what I mean? I knew in my mind, my heart, everything, that I knew, that this isn't going to be something that can't be cracked. It's not unrealistic, especially with the way the world is. So, tested products. And one night, I put a product up and, went to sleep and woke up and had like $5,000, and it blew my mind. And I started getting more and more familiar with the power of the Facebook pixel. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I shot myself in the foot out the gate because I picked a product that was, against Facebook's terms and services. So, I never really got to truly scale with just Facebook, but, I was able to go over to Instagram and monetize the influencers, the micro and the macro. And I still do to this day. But, one thing I'm very knowledgeable also is the power of that Facebook pixel and how smart that is. And, a lot of times I think the mindset is something else a lot of entrepreneurs are missing when they get in this game right there, because they'd be ready to knock it through the roof, and they just don't realize it just takes a little bit more. You got to put a little bit more into it. It's a little more gas in the tank, and then you're going to get there, and you're going to make it all back times 10. And it's like, damn, you never had a loss. It's like having stock, right? You never really lose until you sell, right? So, I've been fortunate though, to be able not to have a 9-to-5 and really not be truly affected by the coronavirus and all that shit that's been going on, just based on the pretense that, I did good. When them stimulus checks hit through the roof, and I've seen people physically, and my heart goes out to them. I never think I'm better than anybody, but, I don't know why these skills weren't taught in school, because, these computers are everything, you know what I mean? And I guess I believe, from being incarcerated for the time that I was incarcerated, that everybody's became so used to these phones and they take them for granted. You feel me? Like, you don't realize how much power is sitting in your hands and how much time you're wasting just thumbing through there. You could be utilizing time, but, in a nutshell, this became a passion though. And, now I'm trying to educate and just, spark that light in the darkness for people who've never heard of, e-commerce, drop shipping, or anything of that nature, basically.
You're hustling to motivate.
Trying to, you feel me? I mean, at the end of the day, all I know is this stuff works, and there's many ways to do it. And
I know you're a bit humble, but tell us where you are right now. This TJ's Instagram is at Goal Getter, right? And he's a pretty humble cat, but he has a screenshot on there that you can see where he did $200,000 in sales last December, right?
Powerful.
So December, and you said that was your personal record, right? So it's very important that.
But I'm hoping to break it this year, baby. This year right here. Yes.
Right. So this is the best time to get in the game. Well, I really appreciate that. We're gonna get back tap back in with you. So let's get Audrey some shine. Audrey, tell us a little bit about how you got started. Your e-com journey, where you found out that this is for you. Whatever you can share with us, about your e-commerce journey.
Okay.
He's a millionaire, by the way. So you guys listen, pay attention.
Hold on one moment. Hold on.
Just okay, no worries. It's worth it. Just hold on. She did 1.4 million in sales this year.
Man.
And You know,
Jeez.
demonstration speaks louder than words. You can see this, the video, not the screenshot
Wow.
on my IG page. It's on there right now on the story. So we're about to listen to a real life story about how she went from the beginning to where she's at right now. I think it's very, very inspiring. TJ, man, thank you so much. Man. This is happening. We talked about creating a platform to enlighten people about digital real estate, right? Getting a chance to have more financial freedom and run their own, show, so to speak, right? So check this out. We're gonna get. I want everyone, wherever you are, to clap for Audrey, right?
That clap.
Audrey's about that life. She's a single mom. She runs a Shopify business. So we are at her time. You heard me? So let's tell us about your journey, Audrey.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much. So like Go Getter, it was a book that got me inspired. It was the Robert Kiyosaki book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. So I read that book. I had zero experience, as it pertains to owning a business, being an entrepreneur, investing. Like all I knew was working a 9-to-5 because that's essentially what you're trained to do, right? You go through school and everything is all about, going to school, getting good grades, going to college, getting a great job, busting your butt and then retiring when you're 60, 70, years old. So that's all I knew. And so I read this book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and it enlightened me. It gave me something totally different, to ponder over. And it was all new to me. I mean, I come from a family of, hard workers, single mom. She had 2 jobs. My dad was in jail pretty much, all of my childhood. And so I just knew that was going to be, my life, not the going to jail part, but just, working the traditional job. And so when I graduated from high school, college wasn't really an option. I knew I had to get to work, to help my mom out with bills and things. And so I got into a really good job. I applied myself, managed a team, at a fairly young age. But what I saw was I had a grandmother, that was a domestic worker. She cleaned and, took care of people, and she worked multiple jobs. And I had a mom who worked multiple jobs, and they were so unfulfilled, right? And I just knew, like, I didn't want that. I didn't want to buy into that whole, idea of busting my butt for someone else. And so when I got into, my career path, recognizing that I didn't own my time and my time was only dictated by someone else. So if I wanted to take time off, if I, needed to handle responsibilities, I had to go and ask and, beg and plead for I'm a whole adult. And as another, I got to go and ask another adult for permission for something, right? And so the idea was crazy to me, wait, I'm not a child. Right. And so, so once I read that book, it got, the wheels spinning for me, but I did not know what avenue of entrepreneurship I wanted to pursue. So many people likely in your audience, you try everything, right? You dabble here, you dabble there, you name it, I did it, building websites, doing affiliate marketing, getting into real estate, doing wholesaling, doing buy and holds, doing fix and flips. I tried everything. And none of that really worked, none of that really worked. But I knew that what I had learned, I could not unlearn. So the pursuit was just the pursuit never went away, and so I figured, okay, I got to find another way to do it. And so around 2015, I'd say, I heard about this course from Don Wilson. And if anybody knows him, he's the owner of Gear Bubble. He has a multi-million-dollar platform selling print-on-demand products, but he had a course called Facebook Ads Cracked. And it was, Facebook was at that point, just now rolling out their advertising platform. And there was a company, which many of you likely have heard of, Teespring, that just opened up a print-on-demand company. And so it was, revolutionary because that did not exist before. If you wanted to print a t-shirt, for instance, or a mug, you had to buy a certain MOQ. You had to have, multiples, and these screen print companies certainly were not shipping the products out to your customers. So you had to hold inventory and kind of manage that.
And what year was this?
This was like in 2015, 2014, 2015.
Okay.
And it might have been slightly earlier than that, but that's like really when I got into it and I really, sunk my teeth into it.
Okay.
And it was all new. And so, one of the things that I always say, and I tell people, a lot of the information that's available today did not exist. Learning Facebook ads and learning, how to build a Shopify store. Like Shopify wasn't even really a thing, back then. It was really, the focus was on, building on Teespring and things like that. And so Shopify rolled out, shortly thereafter. And so that was like the wave. But I dabbled in it. And that was really the first time that I had actually made money online. And lots of it. I was selling t-shirts I'm in the Washington, D.C. area. So, we rep for the home team for football. And so I was selling Redskins shirts. And I wouldn't advise, anyone in your audience to do anything like that, trademark violations and things. But at that time, everything was new. And so it was open sesame, so you could do it until they told you not to do it anymore, And so a lot of people, we kind of rode that wave. But it was my first opportunity really learning something and doing it and producing results. And I was doing it legally, right? For the most part. So anyhow, things, where I'm doing pretty good with that. And, I want to really pursue this even more. And so, I'm kind of dabbling. I'm not really, making too much noise. I'm kind of just, doing a little bit here and there, but not really, leaving a mark. But then life happens, that's what I always say, life happens. And so shortly thereafter, my ex-husband and I separated. And so I quickly became a single mom and my entire world was turned upside down. And so I went from, because in that time frame, I had quit my job to pursue my dreams. And so he was the breadwinner, right? And so within a matter of, days, it seemed, I went from, having a pretty comfortable life, having, dispensable income to now it's all on me. I don't have a traditional 9-to-5 job. And I've just kind of been playing around on the internet. You know what I'm saying?
It wasn't a game no more.
Yeah, it was not a game, because now I have like real life responsibilities that I have to tackle. And so, so I had a situation happen where one day I was at the hair salon, I was getting my hair done, sitting in a chair, and a friend of mine has sent me a link to a book that he wanted me to purchase. And it was like a $7 book. And he was like, oh, you got to get this. It's good business, business publication. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm, on my phone, I'm pulling up the link and everything. And it just keeps saying decline. And I'm like, well, listen, I know I have $7 in my account. Okay. I got, lots of money in my account. So I can handle this. And so I knew it was a mistake. So I went over to Bank of America, pulled up the Bank of America app, and I saw the 3 bank accounts that I had with them all were zeroed out. So the money that I had in those accounts that morning when I woke up was not the money that I had that afternoon. And the long and short of it is my bank accounts were levied by American Express. So we owed American Express some money. And they are just like brutal with it, right? Mm-hmm. And so if you don't pay American Express what you owe them, they come after you. And so they levied my bank account. And so all the money that I had in there, basically they held it hostage and was like, yeah, if you want this money back, you need to call us. And so, you call and basically they want you to make an arrangement, to settle the debt that you owe. So at that point, not only was I, separated from my husband, a brand new single mom, I now have no money. I have no money, and I don't really have, family and friends that I can like really tap into, to get money. And not that I was even looking for that. I was like, I got to figure it out on my own. And so I just remember, leaving the hair salon. I had to call in a favor, to a relative to kind of take care of that bill for me. And she told me, she was like, hey, come here, and we're going to put our heads together and figure it out. And I just remember like that feeling, that gut wrenching feeling of hopelessness, and being afraid and being scared and, just not knowing what the future holds. And just the pressure of, I got responsibilities. Like I have bills to pay, I have to take care of my daughter. Like we got to have a roof over our head. So it really was like, I was having real life conversations with myself. Like, okay,
what year was this, Audrey?
This was in 2016. This was the end of 2016.
Okay.
That this happened. And I was just saying to myself, like, okay, I'm gonna have to make a choice at some point. Like I might have to tell my family, like, listen, take care of the child, I'm gonna figure it out, but just make sure that she's okay, because I just knew like this was just such a desperate situation. But I talked to my aunt and she was like, listen, I don't have a lot, but I believe in what you're doing. I know how committed and focused you are. I'm gonna give you $1,000 and I need you to go out here and crush it. Because basically what had happened a few months before, like I was making money. I had figured out a system and a strategy with Facebook ads and with e-commerce, and it allowed me to make money. Right. And so she was like, you made money. You did it already. Okay. Too bad American Express has it. But if you did it once, you can do it again. Right. And she said, now you have added pressure, right? Your back is against the wall. You have no other choice. You're out of options. So she gave me that $1,000 and she said, go figure it out. And so that was in the month of November of 2016. December of 2016, I made $50,000 selling baseball jewelry to baseball moms. It was a necklace, and it saved me. And
those are virtual claps.
Yeah.
Effect, like going in radio. Yeah. That's amazing.
It was
almost, shed a tear, and I'm hard. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you're back against the wall, $50,000 in a month.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, like when you talk about last December was your month where you made 200,000, and you were like, yeah, like that's so great. That was like the power of fourth quarter, like, so for everything that had happened, hindsight being
wait for this December,
yeah, like I'm telling you, like it can be transformational, and it was. And so, when I look back, I'm not, I don't regret any of that. The timing of it and all of that stuff was just as it needed to be. More importantly, it taught me that when it's, when your back is against the wall, it's fight or flight, one or the other. And most people give up, right? Because that's the natural tendency that we have within us. When our body, feels fear, we tend to, try to run away from it, right? But instead, like you got to lean into it. And that's how you build tenacity. And that's how you build strength. And you can, deal with all of the situations that happen head on. And so that's what I was able to do. And then from that point on, it was, I'm not saying it wasn't easy, by any stretch of the imagination, but I had a system, I had a blueprint, I had a model that I could follow, and I could do this and duplicate it over and over and over again. And so I've built businesses, that have made millions of dollars. And, now the idea is, okay, it's the 5-minute mile, like how can I break records? And so.
Right. I mean, that's a beautiful story. And I watched your Instagram live the other day. You showed in real time how you did 1.34 million. And I'm not going to talk about the strategy you applied, but one of the strategies you talked about was like, I was like, oh, that's so genius. You know what I mean? Like, so I think one of the things that I need to talk about while we have 23 people or so here is what we're doing here, right? We're creating an e-commerce mastermind, and these are the experts, right? They hate to be called gurus, but they are. They're gurus because they've actually ran that marathon, and now they're looking to bring us on the other side where we can also become successful digital real estate entrepreneurs. I call it digital real estate. That's what it all is, you know. There are kids out here that are making money from reselling Instagram pages, buying domains and flipping them, buying Shopify stores. And so the opportunity works like this. You get to come in the program. It costs $2,000. And you might think $2,000 is a lot of money, but when I try to look for a program like this, they quoted me $35,000, okay? So it costs $2,000, and once you pay $2,000, we do an onboarding call with you where we try to get you on the same page. We go into business together. It's a 50-50 partnership, and we build a store. We build you a high converting Shopify store, right? So you're not going to make the mistakes of someone who's going into this from scratch, thinking, "Ooh, I'm just going to get a Shopify store." 95% of people will do that fail, right? So we build a Shopify store. This could be your trial store, your trainer store. It doesn't have to be the store with your best idea, right? But it's a store that we build based off data, right? We're not using emotions, right? So we're going to sell what is known to sell. Okay, especially now we're going into the fourth quarter. You really want to tap into this. Okay, so check this out. You're in the program. Every week we have calls like this. Intimate, private, only for people in the program. This is the only time I'm going to do this for free. Okay, so if you guys have any questions, you might as well just ask them right now. If you're in the program, these are the people that we get to talk to once a week based on their availability on how, and they're going to guide us to make sure that we have successful e-commerce businesses, right? So what happens is during the program, right, if you're just coming in with 2,000 and think that's going to be the cure, no, I'm not going to sit over here and shoot the shit and lie to anyone. I don't need to do that, right? What's going to happen is you're going to have a store that's live that you have access to. There's full transparency. You can share with your friends. You can brag about it. You can ask your friends and family to support the store, right? And once you have the store, what happens is you need to get traffic in there, right? And that takes advertising. So I have a background in influencer marketing. These guys have systems that work, that they've made 7 figures with. We're all going to come together. It's a mastermind. And we're going to take these stores individually to the promised land, which is 7 figures by God's grace, right? It's a journey. Not everyone's going to make it. But your role is you have to fund the ads. So I recommend, right, you spend about $3,000 on ads in the first month and the second month. Because like they'll tell you there's something called a pixel, and you want to warm that up. You're starting a business from scratch. If you are starting a retail business, you have to spend last month, deposit, lease, all these other crap. You don't have to do that here. The systems are teaching you don't have to spend any money on inventory, right? There's prints on demand, there's drop shipping, and you're not going to do what your favorite YouTuber told you, like, well, go do business with some people from China, and then your customers don't get their product for a year or 2 months or a month or whatever the case is. That's not sustainable, right? These are proven systems that work. And the objective is to build these businesses because I call it digital real estate. We can literally sell these stores on websites like Flipper, Empire Flippers, right? So if you do your part, you sign up for the program, you tap in weekly to the calls, we record them. So if you can't make the live calls, you can always watch the recorded sessions, right? And you play your part, right? And you spend the money on the ad spend. We manage the store for you. So it's a chance to learn and earn at the same time, which is very rare. There are a lot of courses out there, but they're not holding your hand through the process. And when I say holding your hand, what I mean is if you want to, you can actually, reach out to Audrey and CJ for a private session if the need be, right? And if they have the availability, they'll make themselves accessible to you. Or you can join one of the weekly live calls and ask questions. Audrey's going to help us with the advertising side of it. So whatever system she's applying to be doing 1.34 million, right, with her brand, she's going to use that in your own system because it's going to be a performance-based type of thing. You know what I mean? So we have a stake in the store. You have a stake in the store. You're learning how to run these stores. You're learning from people that have really done it. And they're gonna share their screens with you right now, so you can see what kind of numbers we're talking about. Right? If you're really looking for financial freedom, you kind of like have to unfuck yourself. Excuse my French. What I mean by that is you have to stop thinking the way we've been brainwashed to think. You have to understand that there are new opportunities sprouting every day in society right now. There are kids out here just kicking ass. This YouTube platform we're on right now, the richest people on it are kids because they don't have that old mindset. Digital real estate, man. I'm trying to own digital skyscrapers, man. You know what I mean? Like, she owns a digital skyscraper. When you're making it $1.3 million from the comfort of your home and raising your child, that's a blessing. You're creating generational wealth.
Yeah.
You're raising a queen because she's seen your example, right? Look at TJ's story. TJ went from being incarcerated to employing people.
Yeah, praise God. It's a micro economy. It's a whole economy by itself. Every business I've created is just a little micro economy, and it helps many people. Man,
right. So I think that's pretty much the gist of it. If you're interested in the program, just reach out to me. I'm not hard to find. I'm on Instagram at Ishmaeli. We have a few more slots where actually this is the beginning of the program. I wanted to introduce who the instructors were. I wanted people to have an opportunity to ask any questions they might have. And I wanted this to be on YouTube because I feel like Instagram sometimes it's a bit restricted. And it's limited in terms of like the reach, because this will stay on for a couple of days so you can come back and watch it. But the point is, there are 3 things it takes to start a Shopify store that's successful. A winning product, we do that for you. Marketing, we handle that for you, right? And then there's also the most important thing, right? Your website, getting people there, right? So we do that for you. We're using influencer marketing. We're using every strategy that's known, right? And so what does that do? That increases your odds of success. And I tell people it's better to have 50% of $1 million than 100% of a buck.
Yeah.
Okay. So swallow your ego, right? And don't look at this as, oh, they're hustling. Because honestly, they don't have to do this. I'm honored that they're doing this. So it's up to you guys to take advantage of it. I mean, we have enough people to put this thing in motion right now and get going. We have people that have signed up since as long as 3 weeks ago that I've been communicating with to kind of hold off because I wanted to get more people involved. And I know TJ has a good heart in terms of he wants this information to go out to kids, so that they don't end up in the wrong path.
Man, in high school, if I'd have had this in high school, oh my
right.
God.
This is that knowledge. This is the real knowledge right here, knowledge is power, and this is really very powerful information. So over the course of 2 months, we're gonna have a chance to break down the e-commerce experience. You're gonna go from 0 to 100. That's the opportunity, right? So there are not that many programs or masterminds where you actually have a live asset being nurtured at the same time, where you have an opportunity to learn and earn. This is not a course. This is a mastermind. Your input is appreciated and needed, right? Because when you bring 2 or more people attacking the same purpose, the energy is magnified. The frequency and the vibration is much higher. So just by you guys being here on this YouTube channel right now, it's in motion, right? So I hope you guys can keep pace with us and run this marathon with us. TMC, man, the marathon continues with or without you, right? So like these guys are going to keep doing what they're doing. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing, living my amazing lifestyle. TJ's going to continue living his amazing lifestyle. You know what I mean? Audrey is doing great, right? So this is kind of like a way to give back because there are programs out there that are charging people $35,000 for the same thing. So my thinking was, we got to bring that down. We got to make that realistic and affordable. And we got to give people a chance to swing, right? So hopefully you guys understand that. So what I want to do is I want you guys to talk a little bit more about some of the things that people should know if they want to get started with e-commerce. Like, what are some of the common mistakes people make? Other than I can do by myself. I just watch this guy on YouTube.
I think the first mistake is they think it's a get rich quick scheme. They think, at the end of the day that, this is just going to, but you've got to it's a real business. You got to respect it just as a real business. You got to do the whole 9 like that. I think that's, when a lot of people I see start out, they think it's just, you know what I mean? I think that's where a lot of people stop at too, is they think it's not for real, but stuff is powerful, super powerful.
Yeah, I'd agree. And I would also add, it's Young Jeezy, right? It says scared money don't make money. You have to be willing to make an investment in yourself. And so, a lot of times I hear people say, well, I tried this and it was a waste of money. And you never consider it a waste of money because you're learning something. It's paying for your education. People are so quick to give $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 to these universities and, in schools and colleges, but they're afraid to spend $1,000, and with something that has a almost guaranteed return, right? People are afraid to make that investment. So, one of the biggest things that I always do, particularly with, clients and students is we work on mindset. We tackle that out the gate, because if you don't understand that in its very simplest form, then you're not even going to be set up for success, because when my back was against the wall and I had only $1,000, like I was willing to go to whatever extent necessary to get what I needed, but oftentimes we are just conditioned to think that, oh, this is a scam, or this doesn't work, or they are something special. No, it's not that I'm anything special. It's just that I'm going to outwork you, and that's because I have the mindset, because I understand the power in this, right? And it's, people just got to be willing to invest in themselves and do the work, the intrinsic work first, before they're even, ready to start building these businesses. I think that's so imperative.
Yeah. And I think people need to understand, the opportunity called digital real estate, right? I don't think there's ever been a time in history, right, where you could just have this type of opportunities where you could literally start a business and in 30 days make 50 grand from $1,000, right? Where, you know what I mean? Like, without saying you were selling drugs or something, you know what I mean? Like legit money. And it takes that knowledge, that opportunity to have the knowledge to do that, like you said, over and over again by learning the system. That's really the gold, right? So, those numbers are actually, they're good. They're a measurement of your success, but there's no limit to the numbers. Right now, you're at 1.4 million. Can you please show your screen to the people? I can share your screen. All you have to do is hit share screen on the bottom, Audrey. Let's show them some numbers so they can know it's real. Are you able to do that?
Yeah, I'm in it. Let's see if this works. Let me just go with entire screen.
Right, and then you all just
right. All right, so let's see.
Let me click it right here. Answer stream.
So what's dope? Let me just back up and say what's so. I don't know. Can you see it? I don't know. I guess I could probably over here. But what I want to say, like, what's so dope about this is this store was doing nothing like March the 1st. Okay, like if it's probably hard to see here, but nothing was really happening. And literally, the early part of March. So look, March 4th, $400. March 5th, $5,000. So March 1st, it was at zero. March 2nd, zero. March the 3rd, 200. I was testing the offer, right? So March the 4th, 400. I knew I had a winning offer. So guess what I did? I turned up the heat. Mm-hmm. So I went from $400 in one day to $5,500 the very next day, right? And let me just say, all throughout this was my highest day. This was on Juneteenth. I sold $30,000. Close, yeah, it was like a $30,000 day sometime around Juneteenth. So the point is, like, and let me just say, I had all kinds of hurdles. I had supplier issues. I'm working on some supplier issues now, and that's why my numbers, are dipping. But I've figured out a solution, so we're gonna bring those numbers right back up. But that's what entrepreneurship is about. It ebbs and flows. It's peaks and valleys, and you got to be willing, to run with it. I had supplier issues. I had quality issues. Like, in this whole time, I've opened up a warehouse. I've bought back a local business that had closed its doors because of COVID. And we've been able, to help out communities, people, bodies, families. because of the work, that I'm doing. This online money, is putting people back to work and providing for families, So I never minimize. And I know sometimes, people do, they kind of turn their nose up or they shrink at the idea of, making money online. But this is a legitimate business, a legitimate business that's responsible for employing people, for getting people back to work and for providing a real need, inside of my community. So it's totally within reach, totally within reach. Absolutely.
So let me ask you a question. What were some of those challenges? Can other than supplier challenges in the beginning, right? What did you do to go from zero to where you are? What kind of advertising, for example?
Oh yeah. So let me tell you, Facebook advertising, that's primarily where I spend my time. But let me just say, advertising on Facebook is not an easy walk in the park. So I've had situations where my ad account has been disabled. My entire business manager has been disabled. And let me just say, when you get that dreaded email or that dreaded notification in your account, I can say probably every single time that I've had an account banned or my business manager has been banned, it has been no fault of my own. So when I go in and I review, whatever their claim is, they always write back and say, we realized that we made a problem and we turned your ads back on, right? But let me tell you how annoying that is when you're trying to scale, when you're spending $5,000-$10,000 a day in advertising, and then all of a sudden Facebook disables your account. So you're spending $5,000 or $10,000, on Monday, and then Monday at midnight, your spend goes down to zero. And then it takes a minute, for you to ramp things back up, and you have to go through optimization again, so there's lots of that. More money, more problems. So, when you're making a whole bunch of money, you get a lot of transactions in your account. PayPal, for instance, has been a pain to deal with. I've had multiple PayPal accounts get shut down, and they hold your money. I have about $15,000 right now sitting in PayPal that I cannot touch, that they basically said, yeah, we're going to hold this money for 180 days. And then once the 180 days is up, then you can contact us and then we'll let you know what we're going to do with your money, right? So the average person would not even be able to stomach that, because in spite of that money that was lost, I still had to send out the product. I still had to ship the product to the customer. I still had to pay ads. I still had to pay for services and whatever else associated with that. So
which leads to a very good question. Sorry to cut you off. Someone is asking, with that amount of revenue, what is the actual profit?
So profit around let's just say industry standard for e-com, is around 30%. This particular store was definitely less than that, probably around 20 or 21%. Which is still good, to be
great, which is great for between March and now. And what people need to also understand is when you have that type of revenue with third-party verification from a Shopify, you have access to financing on this very platform, right? On the dashboard, she can show you how much Shopify is offering her right now, and she needs some money.
Yeah. Right now, if I wanted to get this little advanced through Shopify, I could get 45 to 68,000. At one point, it was over 100,000. But
it's based off the revenue, and then they start taking the payments on a daily basis on your sales, right?
Yep.
So just like real estate, you can finance these joints. You know what I mean? I think that's what people need to understand, that this is truly an asset. And if you wanted to, you can also put this for sale on Shopify Exchange or on Flipper.
Yep, absolutely.
Do you want to do us a favor? Do you want to go on flipper.com real quick?
Sure.
While you have the screen, I want to share something with people. When I talk about digital real estate, you're welcome, BXD Concepts. Sign up for the course. Sign up for the program. It's more than a course. Okay, so we're on Flipper, right? So Flipper is a website, right, where you can actually buy and sell digital real estate, online businesses. It says it right there. Buy an online business, become an acquisition entrepreneur, and invest in digital real estate. How many people have actually heard of the term digital real estate before this call? It's new to me. It didn't exist before. So tell yourself the truth. It's a new concept, right? So on this website, there are people selling domains, Amazon stores, Shopify stores, all type of online businesses, right? Blogs. So you can build an Amazon store, you can build an e-commerce store, and if you need the money or if you have the knowledge, you can buy one and scale it. Do you mind scrolling down a little bit, please?
Sure.
The very first business is a business called ringtoperfection.com, right? That business is doing $6,498 a month in profit. And they're asking $175,000 for it. Okay? And what they do is called drop shipping. It says it right there, monetization, drop shipping, right? And when you think about it, that means that they don't spend any money on inventory. Okay? And they're doing $6,000 a month in profit and asking $175,000. We have a few people here that are actually CPAs and involved in real estate, and I've asked them, where in this world can you find real estate for $175,000? You're making $6,500 a month in profit. Where?
Right.
Anywhere on this earth right now in 2020, it doesn't exist. So this is a new type of real estate, and it's cheaper with better returns, right? So instead of buying this property for $175,000, the opportunity that we have here is we are going to do our best to build them so that we have the opportunity to sell them for $175,000 if we want to, right? So how do you sign up for the mastermind, Kobe asked? You just text me right now, 323-972-0011. I only need 3 more people. 3 more people. I actually want to give away 2 scholarships I want to give away about 5 scholarships to high school students to join the program. So if you guys know any eligible high school students, let me know. Just send me some information, text me, and I'll make sure that they don't pay anything. Because this information could change the trajectory of their life, right? You know what I mean? So let's give back as well. But to sign up for the program, it's $2,000, and text me. I'll give you the details. We can set up a call or whatever. But anyways, the point I'm trying to make is we're going to build this type of websites, and we can sell them for $150,000, $175,000. I mean, just go to flipper.com, guys, and take a look at what some of these websites are selling for. And once you have the knowledge, you can do this on your own 100%. You can have multiple stores. You can partner up with people and build stores. The knowledge is important, but you have an opportunity to actually have a real life business in a couple of days. For the people that are already signed up, you have my word. Your sites will be live by Friday. I really appreciate your patience. I just connected with Audrey. That was the manifestation in itself. I went from just looking at her Instagram lines like, oh my God, I wish I could just have a conversation with her. Do you know how long she curved me in the DM? Do you know how long she curved me in the DM? This is God's engineering. Timing is immaculate, I didn't even have a reason to talk to her. I was just inspired. I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you. Because I watched one of your lives about 6 months ago. And I was like, oh my God, she gets it.
Yeah.
And I reached out. I was like, please, let's. And she, she was building $1.4 million. She had no time for nobody. So she's making herself available to us, right? Right. I hope you guys will be part of the wise ones to join, and we're all going to get to know each other. It's a mastermind, right? So we're going to get a chance to know each other and meet each other. I have a platform called Hi-O that we're going to be using so we can actually see each other and interact with each other, right? Because this is not Harvard, but I think this is just as impactful as Harvard. This is the school of e-commerce, and that's what Jeff Bezos plays. That's the game he plays. Shopify in itself is worth over $120 billion. Right? So we're trying to get some of that sprinkle. TJ, my man.
What's happening?
Talk to him, man. Talk to him. Tell him, wake him up.
Yeah, I believe it. I'll share my little screenshots real quick with y'all so y'all can see what I got real quick, if you don't mind.
Okay, let's do that. Let's do that.
20 bands in that one right here. I don't know if you can see that.
That's how long? That's this month, right?
Yeah, here goes another one right here. This one got, for this month right here, this got, I think, that's 12, almost 13 on that one.
Ooh,
you got multiple stores. Look,
hold up. I got one more. This one I ain't got no ads running, but it's at $800, but ran out. I had a supplier issue with this one too. So slowly but surely building this one in the background. But man, like I said, this stuff can always be replicated. That's the greatest thing about it. You know what I mean? So I look forward to playing my part and putting in what I can put in too.
Right. And the beautiful thing about this is people are going to develop a skill set that they're going to share with other people. They're going to be able to go into their communities and help people with Facebook ads. They're going to be able to take people from 0 to 100 like they would have gone through, right? And, we're going to be there as a support system. If you have an issue with your Facebook account or your ad account, we're going to figure it out as a group, right? It's a mastermind. That's a very rare opportunity for you to have a chance to just connect with people of this caliber, right? That are making themselves available. And this is a pilot program, meaning that once I'm done with this set of people, to get in this program is going to cost about $10,000. Mm-hmm. And it's still going to be very competitive, right? And during the program, I'm going to be inviting other people, right, to come talk to us. I have connections with suppliers that do beauty products. Audrey knows about suppliers that do jewelry prints on demand. Some of you don't even know what prints on demand is. You're going to understand, you're going to have connections with suppliers. You're going to be able to run an entire business on autopilot. It's going to be done for you. So you know how to do it by yourself. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to hold my guy, my royalty, my e-commerce royalty up for too long, right? It's getting late in the East Coast, and I know they have stores to run and everything, but thank you guys so much for tapping in.
Thanks for having me.
So I want you guys to just give him a few words and wake him up.
Ladies first.
Oh, what? You said a few words?
Just wake him up. How can they connect with you? Where can they find you?
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Cool. So so you can catch me. I run around on these social media streets. You can find me on Instagram at Mogul Mompreneur. That's mostly where I spend most of my time. Instagram, Facebook. That's where you can find me. Check me out, Mogul Mompreneur, on both Facebook and Instagram.
So I'm at
CJ, where can they find you?
Well, you find me on IG as well, Goal Getter 303, and that's with an A. But I just want to encourage everybody that has the ear to hear that, this is the best time to get in e-commerce. Like she said earlier, wealth is created in these next coming months in an immaculate way. So, if you even have the hunch to go a little bit forward, I encourage you to take that step forward. This is a skill that will pay into the future. And, like Ish said, at the end of the day, I think we really don't have to be doing this, but, we want to do this. We want to see people succeed and break free because, at the end of the day, what kind of life is that to live when you do got to go report to somebody every day? I look at a 9 to 5 almost like being in jail to a degree. It's another form of incarceration in my humblest of opinions. So, you know what I mean? Especially if you got a family, if you want to. We don't live to work, right? But we have to go to work every day in order to live. So, I think anybody that wants to take a shot at this, man, I highly encourage you to take that step forward. I encourage you.
Yeah. So I'm going to repeat the number one more time, 323-972-0011. It's right there scrolling down there. My texts are going off. I like that. I think I have 2 more spots left. I appreciate you guys. Love and blessings. Follow me on IG. If you're not following me, Ishmaeli. We're going to start doing this, but it's not for the public.
Let's get
follow my e-commerce royalty. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Peace.